I'm sorry, people that are making the same thing they were making in 2016, you're not a bigger star. Do you understand? You're not a bigger star. Don't fool yourself that, oh, so when people are writing epistles, I've done this for 15 years. If you're not richer than 15 years ago, you're not a bigger star. Stop it. A lot of influencers don't know how to charge what they deserve because they are not necessarily doing it the right way. To be an influencer, you have to have something you are influential at.
Oh my God.
Tumika is a brilliant presenter. So she can wake up tomorrow and sell me like roll-on. Because I already know her for something. She's influential at something. I feel like you're only as good as the last decision you made. It's what I always tell girls. When girls tell me that, oh, you know, you are from privilege, you don't understand, I have to do runs, I have to date this man. No. When you date that person, what will happen is people like that will continue to chase you.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's another amazing episode of Freaky Table. My name is Charles Bourne, and of course, I'm not alone. I have the lovely Joanne with me. I like to call her Dukwe because
call me like that.
that is the one I do like.
Call me like that.
You know, so Dukwe is here with me
Nigerian
as well.
already.
And I'm really excited, you know, that she chose me to co-host Freaky Table with her. I'm like, what did I do to, you know, have the honors of sitting beside such gorgeousness? Thank you again. I would always say thank you to you because I mean, it's not easy. That's an international this thing. Say, come on, Charles, behave. You know, and all that. But today's episode is quite interesting. It's one for the books because our guest today is not just a sweet girl, not just a pretty woman. She is an actor. She's a philanthropist. She's an influencer. She used to be on TV and radio. I dare say she's one of the best broadcast journalists that I do know. I remember her days at Arise, and I would just watch this woman. I'm like, who is she? Like, how dare you? You know, how dare you be so good? And that's before we, you know, became friends and life happened and we, you know, we became really cool. And she is a sweetheart and a really good person, you know, at heart. I know so many philanthropists who are philanthropists because of the tabloids and just the paparazzi behind it. But she genuinely has a good heart. She looks out for people and she would always show up for you when it's important. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of introducing today on the show, the one, the only, Idia Aisien. Oh, come on.
Hey guys.
That's my girl.
What's up?
That intro was long.
I'm good. Hanging in there, just you know, absorbing all the washing. I mean, it was very.
You deserve it.
Hey.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, guys.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. You say gorgeous.
Ah, my God.
By the way, your outfit for the NBC loved.
Oh,
Can we
thank you
start
so
with
much.
that?
You ate.
Like,
honey.
it left
Oh,
no
both
comments
outfits?
at all.
Sick.
You look stunning. That was a shocking color on the red cover. I was like,
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
That
even
was
just the
beautiful.
design and everything was beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. So today we're talking about, something that is not new to you. You're creative. You're an actor. You don't broadcast. You're an influencer and all that great stuff. And it's something that, especially with you know, the younger generation and even some of the older folk now, the art of being a creative and just how to monetize, right? It is a huge conversation.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who are afraid to monetize, who are afraid to charge what they think they're worth,
Yeah.
who are afraid to even have the money conversation,
Yeah.
who are afraid to say, no, I'm not taking that. You know, I think that I'm better than that.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, if I say no to this one, I don't know when the next one will come. Or they
Exactly.
think I'm a diva or things like that, right? And when we thought of the topic, I just knew that you were the right person because
Yeah.
we've had money conversations and Idia is not afraid to mention the money. She's like, this is the check I want. Is either you want that or not. But let's start from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
You have worn so many hats in the industry,
Yeah.
in the creative space. Like I said, TV, you know, radio, all that great stuff. How, first of all, and when did you know that, okay, you know what, it's time to leave TV and do film, and okay, I can influence? Because I mean, you used to be a model as well.
Yeah.
It's lots of things that you've done in the creative space. So when did you know that it's time to stop this and move here and that transition?
Okay, so for me, I wouldn't say there was a time I started influencing because I feel like it's always been everything that people are doing now and that I'm doing now, I've always sort of done. The only difference is that now people pay me to do what I've always loved to do. So when I used to live in New York, I used to unbox my items that I was buying. Or I used to be like, hey guys, I'm using this shampoo, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. Like it was a regular conversation. I wasn't as out there, obviously, because I'm very shy, and TV was something that I actually used to bring myself out of my shell. As a TV presenter, my dream growing up was to work for CNN. I was like, I'm going to be a broadcast journalist, I'm going to be an anchor and all of that good stuff. And, you know, my dad used to watch all my shows when I used to broadcast on Arise. So I was really, really, really going hard. When I lost my dad, I had zero interest in doing the shows anymore because I knew that he wasn't going to be watching. And to be honest, a part of me also felt like Arise was one of the biggest platforms in Nigeria. I'm the kind of person that I believe in career progression. If you're going from one level, you have to be going up. I don't believe in going backwards.
down. Come on.
I looked at all the TV stations that were left in Nigeria.
It's been left for me. It's been left. I'm screaming.
If BBC ain't going to hire you, CNBC or CNN, and you've worked for Arise,
Yeah.
you bow out
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a huge issue I'd like to first point out is that a lot of people don't know when it's time to hang a hat. You know, they will settle for anything. You see some people, like maybe they're performing at BET Awards, next thing they're performing in church. Like you just have to, no, seriously, like it's okay to retire from something. And I feel like a lot of people don't know how to digest that piece of information.
Before you continue, just sorry.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that. My question here is like, you retired young. So
No, because
if you're sending this message to younger
No,
people,
I wasn't finished though. So
Okay.
when I'm done, you'll get it. So I'm saying in a profession,
Right.
if there is no possibility of you moving up, it's okay to either diversify into something else or to figure out like a smarter way to make money or do that same thing. If I wasn't going to start my own show and sell it to a big platform like Arise, if I wasn't going to move to a bigger network, what was the point? And if I wasn't going to stay at Arise, also, what was the point? So for me, I kind of like hit a wall. And I'll be very honest, it wasn't necessarily even fully planned. It was just something that I knew I wasn't going to stay here. And I was figuring out next steps while I mourned my dad. 2 a.m. one morning, I get a phone call from my manager. And Charles is like, oh, hey, Idia, there's an audition. I'm thinking finally, MTN Project Fame. Let me go and... And he said it's for NECA. I said, what's with that? He said, NECA, the Pretty Serpent. I said, Charles, that's a film. He said, they like your eyes. They want to see something. I said, which eye? He was like, oh, Idia, it's at 8 a.m. Are you going for the audition or not? They've asked for you to come. I was like, you know what? At this point, I don't know what I want to do next, so I'll go. I stayed up that morning. I rewatched NECA from 1994 and I rewatched part 2 from 1998. Then I went for this audition. I said, these people just want to say, even Idia auditioned, and I hate that. Like, don't put me in a room where you know I have no chance. I didn't think I had a chance in hell because I wasn't an actor. I did the first one. They call me back again another time. They come back again another time. They say, can you swim my light? I say, yes. As in, there's nothing I didn't... I always say yes, then I go and learn. So,
Smart.
yeah.
Nice.
So by the 5th time, I noticed the names on the board were reducing. And I won't say the other names I saw, but then I announced that the 5th time I saw only Idia. And I just started crying. And they were like, yes, we're going to use you for the movie. And the director was like, he would rather train me than work with people that weren't moldable. And the thing was like, I was like a baby in Nollywood. So it was easy to train because I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't going to be a diva. I mean, I didn't know the next step in my life. So that was how I transitioned into film. The most exciting part about getting into Nollywood for me is obviously that it was disruptive. How do you enter any industry like that?
Yeah, that's a huge way to enter now.
fear.
The second part of it is after that, nobody can tell me there's no God. Because what? It like people have wanted to be actors since they were 3 years old. And then somebody just comes from nowhere and she's doing her eye like this. And you know, it's
And her first is the Netflix.
and then it was a Netflix film. So that was incredible. So transitioning into that. Now the second thing I would say, so transitioning, especially when you don't know the next steps, and especially when you are not progressing in your career. For me, never be afraid to transition or diversify. The second thing I would say, a lot of influencers don't know how to charge what they deserve because they are not necessarily doing it the right way. To be an influencer, you have to have something you are influential at.
Oh my God. Idia, say it again.
No.
People have to know you for something.
something.
Are you like a dancer that is a very great dancer and people always look forward to watching you dance every Thursday? Are you a TV presenter? Look at Charles here. He has all these shows he's doing. From there, he's also doing skits and stuff. People are like, this guy is funny. So people are following you for something. In your mind, you're thinking you're just doing your job. No, you're creating a tribe. You're creating loyal followers. And by God's grace, you're creating a cult of people that the minute you now say, hey guys, I bought this shirt from here, those people now want to buy the shirts. If they don't even want to buy that particular shirt, they're going to that site because Charles is wearing that shirt. So let's see what else they have on that site. That's how influencing works. You don't just wake up and say, I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to do all the trending things on TikTok. You'll be funny for a while, but, so you have people like the lip gloss boy, you have Kiki, you have Tomike. Tomike is a brilliant presenter. So she can wake up tomorrow and sell me like roll on because I already know her for something. She's influential at something. She has followers that she prays with. She does giveaways. She's made them feel like she calls them family members. Do you know what I mean? So she can influence them. You can't just wake up and say, I'm fine. Let me start doing videos. Like it doesn't work that way. And when I try to explain this to people, it's like, oh, she doesn't want us to enter the industry. No, absolutely not. The third thing I would say about influencing and being able to charge is asking other people what the cost price or the market price is for certain things. Everybody cannot be charging 500K for something and then you come and you're charging 50K. Everybody cannot be charging 500K and you come and you say your own is 3 million. And there are a lot of people that are unreasonable. They don't do their research. They don't ask questions because they feel like they're coming in, they're going to take over. You cannot be the best without knowing what other people are doing.
But sorry to cut you.
Yes.
I mean, that's great, but in a situation where you're not told the truth, because there are people who say that,
But so I'm even getting, I'm getting to a point.
Okay.
So whenever I'm speaking, I am not speaking about posers or random people or fake people. I'm talking about serious people, like business people.
Gotcha.
Do you understand? You have friends that you can call tomorrow and say, hey, plug me into this. And tomorrow, that endorsement or those brands will actually call you. Those are the kind of people I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those friends that don't want to plug you in or those people that... I'm not talking about those kind of people. I'm talking about serious people. And in your life, you know who is serious. You're just kidding yourself. You know the people that lie to you. I bought my thing from Japan and it's from Ikorodu. So I'm talking about serious people. So anyway, so you study what's going on in the market, right? And you see what everybody else is charging and that way you know. Another thing is you have to sharpen your axe. I don't believe that you can be an influencer without having like, what's it called? A USP, a unique selling point. Why am I coming to Charles over Idia? Right. Charles may be able to give me he may be able to add a comedic edge to what I want him to do. Idia may be able to give a more Lux edge. It's not that Idia cannot be funny and Charles cannot be Lux. It's just that this is the person that people will follow for this, and this is the person that people will follow for that. So you have to.
So that goes back to your first point, which you have to be influenced. You have
to have something. Influencing is a job that comes off of being good at something. Do you understand? Exactly. And then so. A unique selling point. They're expecting you to add that edge to videos. So if you see like some of Kiki's ads that she makes, she will add humor to the adverts because they are expecting to not watch a boring advert. If Kiki just comes and she's like, oh, by the way, at 2 o'clock, you'll just be like, you check the page again. Am I watching the right page? So people want to know you for something and you must sharpen your accent. You must be very good at it. Again, that USP as well, in terms of like, if you look at people like Frank Itom, the transition, like how he makes those clothes and those transitions, anybody that is doing fashion and that kind of stuff knows that they're running to him for content. Do you know what I mean? Because he's very good at those transitions. Yeah. He's editing. He's even not a gatekeeper. He's teaching it to other people. Right. He's creating a community of people that want to learn that editing from him.
Let me ask you a question because of my Cameroonian, there was an incident that happened in Cameroon. A young girl, she's about 22. All of a sudden, she was, how will I put this in the language? She was acting porn. Because I did not understand that kind of...
what was she doing?
She was having sex with 22. She was having sex with, filming herself having the sex with people, with men.
More than one person.
And posting it on social media. She's 22.
Okay.
So she got arrested
Was it OnlyFans or she just wasted that?
No,
content?
like Instagram, like normal.
What a waste.
Normal social media.
OnlyFans.
So she was arrested by the Cameroon government and locked up, and because she was young, I felt like the judge also considered that maybe she doesn't really know what she's really doing. But in her defense,
22 isn't young.
Yeah, she now said, she wanted to be an influencer. So that got the whole of Cameroon very confused on what an influencer or who an influencer is. So for just so we all can properly understand, even the 22s and 21-year-olds, if you can help us define who an influencer is.
An influencer is a person that can move a service or a product because of their level of influence, because of the level of impact that they've made. I don't know that pornography or those kind of things will influence necessarily the right crowd or the, the general status quo of people that if I want to buy clothes or I'm not going to go and check someone like that.
But where has the confusion been? Because a lot of people, just like models,
it's not
right?
Confusion. There's some people that want to do something different, and I think she wanted to do something different, and she got it wrong. And nobody can blame that on models or other influencers.
No, the thing about for the past, there's a stereotype that goes, the way people see models or now influencers, actresses, or any female or now men in entertainment, they consider you, especially models and influencers now, because they cannot pinpoint exactly what you do or how you make money or why you are that famous or popular. They always attach you to prostitution. So most models in Cameroon, where I come from, sometimes they shy away from that, even if they have the skill or they have the desire or dream or passion. They don't want to, because they don't want to be tagged as people, young girls, they pimp you to rich men or something. So I don't know.
First of all around the world, and we need to even stop this thing of actors, actresses, whatever. All over the world, there's prostitution, right?
True.
You had people like Marilyn Monroe, for instance, that they were rumored dated this one and that one and followed whoever. It happens all over the world. True. That's the first thing, right? What I will say is that yes, in the industry, and not just this industry, even in banks, there are some of your colleagues in the bank that you're like, come, why is this one's money moving more than everybody's money? It's not the same 300K or 500K or whatever. There are shady routes in every single industry. What I will say about the world, if you really, really study capitalism, you would understand that people shame people that go against the status quo. So for the longest time, they would shame actors, actresses, people that owned gyms, athletes even, that why are you not a banker, lawyer, doctor, etc. They use it to shame you, and shame is control. So they were using it to shame people because they wanted the world to work according to what they understood and what they could regulate and what they could monitor. When you're a banker, lawyer, doctor, whatever, they can monitor how much you make. They can monitor how much taxes you need to pay. When you're an influencer, do you know how much tax you're withholding if you choose to? Do you understand the kind of money that you can make in your house that nobody will ever know or account for? Nobody wants that. Government doesn't want that. Of course, they're going to make it. They will. Let me tell you something that people don't understand. As somebody that I studied business in school, I studied business and I studied journalism. One of the things that I understand is that when people create a fire here, it's because they're trying to distract you from the real thing. So the real thing is they don't want people going off making all this money that they cannot take part of. So forget about exactly. So don't actresses up. Do you see the number of actors, the number of films they are doing every year? Hustling, suffering. What is it?
Especially inside of town.
People work really, people work, and especially
really hard.
I can speak from my generation.
Yes.
There are very, very hardworking actors, actresses, influencers out there. They are putting in work and they're also very, very, very talented.
Yeah.
You see, the editing is on another level.
True.
I cannot spend 20 hours editing one video and then you now come and tell me that, oh, you don't know what I do. Don't be stupid. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So
I mean, we're in this discussion of influencers. I'm very concerned with women in entertainment, women in media. There are opportunities that are not given to us. I really don't know the setting here in Nigeria, but the opportunities that are not given to us because a man is at the top of a helm of things, and it feels like you as a woman, you cannot do that. Number one. Two, you're weak to do that. I don't want a female that is bossing me, or I'm trying to say you're talking about, oh, you have to go and do hair, makeup, you get pregnant at some point, and this one that's going to disrupt my business. So and then they see you as like, it took a long time for my mom to understand what I do for a living. Very long. When they ask us, I think they for TV, but I don't really understand. Like, you not really.
Yeah, but those problems, not just outside, are also from within the family. How your family raises you to tell you, no, you must do XYZ job. You can't do this. What are you doing? I remember my dad, I paint and draw really well.
Yeah.
I remember I drew Beyonce when I was like 12 years old, and I took the picture to my daddy. And he said, is this what you want to be doing? I never drew again for many years.
Oh, wow.
Then one time I was writing poetry. I wrote one song that my sister should come and sing it. And they were looking at me like,
hey, this one.
The only thing I had even said, I wanted to model, I was saying so many things. The only thing that my father now even said, let's agree, was journalism. Because I was coming up with so many things. Daddy, I think I want to be a princess. Daddy, I think I want to be an artist. He was like, and he told me one day, he said, Idia, do you want to be poor? Because it's as if you're communicating to me that you don't want to have money. You want to struggle. He asked me straight off the bat. And I just dropped all those hobbies and I became a very hobby. I dropped everything. So I think it starts from the home front. Like people already shaming you about certain things that you want to do. Then you now come outside. But let's be honest, like speaking on the women issue, because it's a topic, right? I would say gone are the days when those things are as big a problem as they were. Because now most of the bank MDs are female. Do you understand? Many of the women and I know some boss-ass CEOs in Nigeria, a lot of women are really and forget all those prostitution, all those rumors, all those women cannot do the work. They are doing the work. They're showing up, showing out. They're some of the highest paid people in Nigeria. Women have changed the game. And for me, I've always thought that when women talked about equality, they were just saying they wanted the same opportunities as men. Nobody is saying, oh, I can carry a brick heavier than a man. Please carry the bricks for us. We are begging. But, they just wanted the opportunity to vote. Do you understand? To drive. In some countries, you can't drive or travel without your husband's permission. To have certain positions and earn the same kind of salary as men. And I think that that's definitely happening in Nigeria because we didn't even have as much freedom back then, or the audacity to want this much freedom. I don't think our mothers could just come out and say, I want to do this. Do you understand? So a lot has actually changed and we should appreciate that change.
Yeah.
I remember when I worked at Arise and I asked for a certain salary. And this is also why I said I didn't want to go somewhere else because I knew what I was being paid. Nobody was going to cut me that slack again. So I just respected myself and came out. So I remember when I asked for the salary I asked for, they were like, but you're not married, you don't have children. Why do you want to be paid this?
Really?
I said this. Yeah. They asked me that point blank. I've said this before in an interview before. They asked me that. And I was so offended at the time. But people can only meet you at their level of understanding. Do you understand? That's number one. Number two, I ended up telling them that I am not being paid based on my age or based on whether I'm single or married. I'm being paid based on my training. I had worked at Discovery Channel. I worked at Fox News. I came from America with how many years experience? With 2 degrees in media. And then you're not going to tell me that I should come and be collecting 500K. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't possible. So, yeah.
Interesting stuff. I also want to know, Ralph, just find out from you. I know that what you were being paid, say for example, in 2020 is not what you're being paid now.
Absolutely.
Right. So what is the
abroad or here? What's your question?
Oh, hello. Yeah.
Okay, here.
Here.
Okay.
Right. I'm just saying, last year's price is not this year's price.
Of course.
Right? So what is for you as a creative, as an influencer, what is the metrics, right? Because I get that question.
You mean what gives you the ability to up your price?
Up your price, yeah.
Your experience. Every single job that you have under your belt changes the game. For instance, when Lancome came and signed me, you cannot be working for shea butter and now come and tell me to come and collect what I was collecting before. A French company saw me and thought I was so beautiful. And it's different.
Yeah.
When I did influencing for Schweppes, you cannot come from another drink brand and be telling me something else because now I'm spoiled. This is the level they've put me on.
And it's up all the way.
Career progression. Do you understand? But no, but seriously, it's the experience under your belt and it's the hours of work, right, that you've put in. And everybody's entitled to use that as a metric to say, I want to be paid more. Yeah. And also the world has changed. How much was exchange rates then to now? If you say you want to charge the same thing because you're pitying your employer, you're on your own, your videographer is not going to reduce the
Listen.
wages. The
makeup
videographer has
artist,
increased his price. Your editor has increased their price. And you're now the one that is pitying your employers. Hell no. Those companies are making money off of your talent and off of your work. Don't be fooled. Don't ever sit down and think that a company doesn't have money. It's not true.
Good.
They always have money.
I also, this is the reason why I wanted you here. With money, when it comes to money conversations, you know, Idia is that girl.
Yep.
You're an actor.
Yes.
And that's also an aspect of being a creative, right? And we know, because this is an industry that we both play in, that also pricing now, as an actor, is very interesting.
Is what?
It's very interesting.
Yeah. And it's deterred a lot of people from getting work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how do you also, I know you have money on all that great stuff, but also how do you also price as an actor now?
Yeah.
Not an influencer? Because I literally can count the number of jobs that you have been in.
Yeah.
Literally as an actor.
Yeah.
And I know that I can tell the intentionality that is. Because in my head, when I say those, I'm just like, if this people did not pay the right money to Idia, they're not offering Idia the right money. That's why she's not in it. Right? Yeah. So as an actor, how do you also put a price to your craft? As you now that I'm speaking of Idia,
So for me personally, my first film I was paid well. Yeah.
Obviously.
My first things are always very high.
It was big. It was a remake of a classic. It was like a good network. It was a good budget. I was paid very well. And for me, based on that, I already knew I was never going to go below that price. Obviously, the opportunity cost of not coming down on my price meant that I wouldn't be in every film. Cool. That was my strategy anyway. I didn't want to do every film. I have about maybe 3 projects that are actually out, but I have about 7 projects that are unreleased, right? So I have done work, but I've been extremely picky about the kind of work I do. Because if you cannot pay me what I'm asking for, I also know that the project may not be as successful as if you don't have budgets. Sometimes I already know that, like, what are we really doing? Like, what kind of how you're going to be treated, like, based on the budget. For some people, it's a numbers game. If they do 50 films, in their mind, that's 50 million in a year. But that's 50 films. That's 50 times, God knows, 200 hours of work. It's a lot of work. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I kind of feel like I would rather work smart. Do you understand? I would rather work smart. And I'm not saying that everybody can go off and charge what I charge, but I invest a lot.
That's what I was about asking, about building value.
Yes.
Because the thing about marketers would be like, why am I giving you
such
X amount of money? I invest a lot into my career. So I have an acting coach. For one of my roles, I sat in the market for days studying people, how they price goods, how they collect money from the ATM, how they argue, how they are frying bully. I ate that there.
Oh, I think I know those.
I studied those things. And I have a coach. I have different people that I reach out to, whether they're veterans, whether they're young actors I like. I buy books. I actually read books on acting. I watch the greats on YouTube, how they started their careers. I watch documentaries. I watch Sly on Netflix about Sylvester Stallone. I'm actually somebody that I pour in. I'm not just sitting there posing saying, no, pay me this, pay me that. Right. If I do get to the point that I'm in this movie, and there are better people for every role, there's always somebody. But if I do get to the point that I'm in this movie, all I can guarantee you is that you're getting a professional, and I will give you 3,000%. Wow. So that's it. Do you understand? You're free to work with somebody that, will give you drama, whatever. I don't have wahala on set. But my own is, I need to be paid properly. Also because of one of the reasons I entered the industry is because I wanted to be part of the evolution. There's an evolution taking place in Nollywood that I don't know if people can see. But very soon, I see us being like Nigerian athletes. I see us being like musicians, Afrobeats. We are going global. And it's very important to be part of this train. The only way to successfully even get on the train is to have structure. Right. Structure scares people. It scares people that are unprofessional. Right. It scares the brands that really want to shortchange you and don't want to pay you what you're worth. But it also scares the artists, the influencers, or the actors, because they think, with this structure, people will not call me. Why do you want to be called by somebody that doesn't want to talk to your manager? Why do you want to deal with somebody that won't talk to your team? If you don't involve your team in the work you're doing, and God forbid, somebody sexually harasses you, do you understand? If you don't involve your team in what you're doing, and then after you do the project, let's say you don't get paid because you negotiated that project yourself, you weren't able to tell them, no, I must get 70% before, or I must get, my team tells them she must get 100% payment before she sits on. I remember one time I took a job because I really wanted the job. I was like, oh, my manager called me and he was yelling at me. He said, no, actually, you don't sit on that set until you've collected your full money. You have no business there. Sometimes, yes, you will lose the job, you will lose out. But many of the jobs I've lost, when I see them on TV, I start laughing. It was like, glory be to God. Do you understand? But structure scares people that want to take advantage of you, that are unprofessional.
Yeah.
Cool, no, they're polished.
I mean, listen, Idia loses business. And I feel like literally you've answered, you've sort of like covered everything that I had in mind and I wanted to ask. But I think that one question that I would want you to answer or just, talk about is for someone who is looking to just get into the creative space, be it an actor, musician, influencer, whatever. What 4 first steps would you ask, first 4 steps would you ask them to take that maybe you didn't take, but maybe have, fixed now?
No, I figured out.
I figured out now. What would you tell them to do first?
So the influencing space or the acting space? Any.
Space.
The creative space.
For me, I would say the first thing, and I think that was what helped me get as far as I got in Nigeria. The first thing was I reached out. So the first thing was I see tomorrow today. So I craft out exactly what I want my career to look like. What do you look like in 5 years? Like, what kind of platforms do you want to be on? What kind of awards are you looking at? What kind of people are you looking at working with? Who do you want to be? What kind of brands are you after? The kind of brands you're after influences the kind of content you're creating now. You don't go out and make content because you are stupid. No, you create based on, I want these people in beauty to see what I'm doing. Or I want, car makers to say, if there's anybody that's going to do content on cars, it's this person. Do you know, what do you see? You have to see yourself. You have to see the end game. The end game allows you to know exactly, to know exactly how to build. That's the first thing I would say. What do you see? The second thing I would say is build a team. Structure is very important. I know a lot of people feel like they can go at it alone. They want to save money. I reached out to people even when I wanted to be a TV presenter. When I came to Nigeria, I'd done it before. I've done it for big organizations. But I came to Nigeria, I said, I'm in a different war zone.
Start from scratch.
I have to ask. I asked a lot of people questions. TM, so many people. I reached out to them. And TM was one of the people, Toke Makinwa was one of the people that told me, she said, Idia, build a team. Find people, you sit down and just tell yourselves, look, when we win, we're going to win together, we'll win big. Find people that believe in you. There'll be many people that say, I only take this amount, and that's okay, that's not your person. But there'll be people that believe in you enough to say, let's see, we'll weather the storm together. As you grow, your makeup artist has grown, your hairstylist has grown, your legal has grown. There are people, do you understand, that are also looking for big breaks. And I promise you, if what you've done is work backwards, where you've seen your end goal, you've crafted it out, you've been able to get people that believe in you, you believe in each other,
sky is the limit.
Do you know what it is for you to be working towards something, in terms of even the universe, working towards something that you completely believe in? It's like magic. It will work. Talk less of when you're 5 and you all believe in that same dream. The world will answer to you. And so the second thing, that structure, very important. Structure is, hey, even if you cannot pay a lawyer on retainer, have people that if there's any issue, this my friend can write this thing for me, or this person can refer me to somebody that you have to have a manager that even if they are not a serious big you have to have people that have your back. Then 3, reach out to people that are already in the industry, right? I talked about that before, but let me expand. Now, there are people that will just come into the industry, I'm a great actress, I'm a great influencer, whatever. I be messaging influencers all over the world. Hey, I really love your work. Can you tell me how this, even if I know the answer, or even if it's a stupid question, just reach out to people. I'm like, when I come to this country or this state, can I reach out to you? Can we have lunch? Can we reach out? There's something that one of my mentors told me, and I think it's actually common knowledge. They say, take one person out that you don't know once a month. You guys just go off, talk about something, do something new. That's networking. You have to network. Many of the jobs that I have today, it is literally somebody that was sitting somewhere and said, use Idia. The property company that just endorsed me, it was literally like a real estate agent that I knew, fantastic girl, whatever, had conversations in the past, and she said, Idia will do this work. Idia, you have to reach out to people. You have to network. Your network is your net worth. They say it, but a lot of things sound like a cliche. It is, as in, that is where your money is. Your friends, not just your friends that say, hey, come party with me on Friday. No, you have to, you see your friend doing something that you like. Charles, how far now? I like how you've done this. Can we actually, friendship should also be outside of partying. Yep. I don't even take party friends seriously. How do we do things where we can talk, build each other? I want to get into your mind, and I want you to get into my mind. All those gatekeeping, all those... Anyway, so reach out to people. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. And then also unique selling points. What is it that you've seen that end goal? You've seen, the kind of people the kind of audience, the brands that you want to attract. Now, how do you attract them? If there are 3 people doing fashion, what is different about your own fashion content that will make them say, this is weird, this is different? Do you try on your own clothes in the bathroom? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is it that you're doing? Do you understand? Are you singing in the shower? Like, what is it? Are you giving reviews while you're taking a shower? Guys, you know me, I'm rushing, I'm taking a shower, but I just want to tell you about this new gaming, something. People are doing all sorts of things. People are doing stuff in their cars now, Do something different that people will like. That's your USP. And the last thing is, for me, don't be afraid to say no. One of the biggest companies in the world, I was having a conversation with them, and I wanted a certain amount. To be fair, we'll never know who was wrong and who was right. I wouldn't say I'm right, but we'll never know who was wrong, who was right. But they offered me an amount of money that I thought wasn't fair. And I said to them, I can understand that you don't see my value, and I'll have to respectfully decline. And I kid you not, they were like, we're not saying that. Or what. After I wrote that message, I didn't respond to any of their emails again, because I was done with unless the conversation is now that we're revisiting the amount and you change it. For me, and a lot of people say it's a lie, it's because she comes from privilege. It's not about that. Saying no. And I'm not saying no and being a rude person. Yeah. This company was legit taking the piss. They were legit. They were moving funny with the amounts they offered. A brand has actually called me before for a meeting. They've shown me my face on projector, 1 year, endorsement. But then I got to the end of the business, I saw 1 million naira. Do you understand? And this was 6 years ago. Do you know what that brand told me? What? When I told them, oh, sorry, is it 1 million per? Like, I don't understand. Like, what, do you understand? She was like, oh, no, that this is, we're taking you to South Africa. And so, and it was just, and she said to me, you may never get a drink endorsement if you turn this down. I swear, I can't say the brand, I don't care. They are similar to Bailey's.
Okay, I know.
She said, you may never get a drink endorsement again. Not knowing that now we don't import a drink. I live on first. So she said, you may never get a drink endorsement again. And I was like, And then a year after that, Remy Martin endorsed me and put me on their global website. So when you can't be afraid to say no. You can't be scared to say no. Sometimes you might say yes to something. I feel like you're only as good as the last decision you made. It's what I always tell girls. When girls tell me that, you are from privilege, you don't understand, I have to do wrongs, I have to date this man. No. When you date that person, what will happen is people like that will continue to chase you. When you cheat on that test, you will notice that opportunities to cheat on different things will start opening up to you. When you hang out with that useless friend, it's useless people that will not be attracted. I'm telling you, you're as good as your last decision. Any decision where you take the high road and you're like, this guy is cool, he's a great person, he's not the level that I'm looking for, or he doesn't have the qualities I'm looking for, he goes out too much, I want a God-fearing, and you say no to something that isn't what you want, I promise you, better comes. But if you follow that guy, he's carrying you to club every day like this, he will still not marry you, but anyway, he's carrying you once you follow that guy, other people have seen you with that guy. It's those kind of people that will keep, it's a cycle. You hang out with one useless friend, all the useless people are like, but you were friends with this person, now you want to pose for me. Has nobody ever insulted you like that? You did that useless show, you're not saying you can't come on my show. You have to be selective. No is okay.
It's funny how I like that you say don't be afraid to say no, because I feel like you're speaking to me. I had done work for like this, bank, and they had, and that was like a very short stint, like a short stint. And I come back, this year with, we want, pretty much what you said, brand ambassadorship. I was really excited. Oh, okay, let's go. I did like what happened the last time and all of that. Okay, let's go. And I got to the money. And when the woman said it, I said, God forbid. and the God forbid was very reflex. And I apologized. I'm saying, I'm so sorry. But no, I won't take this. And then it was a whole fiasco. And it was a fiasco because I didn't understand why she was upset. Like, why would I'm like, I'm just saying I'm not going to take this. I don't want it. And I spoke to some people about it. Like, Charles, are you sure? I'm like, I hear you, but no. I think
you know that there's a bank you've worked with?
Yes.
And that bank has reached out to me on several occasions for a few things. And there's a time they asked me to host something. And I gave them price and they shouted,
It's the same bank.
It must be. And they didn't, and I was just like, guys, I'm not going to be presenting or doing work just so that it looks like I'm doing work. Do you understand?
And I can't see the benefit. Like, what are you talking about?
What am I doing
You
there?
end up being spent. Let me tell you something about the industry and life in general. If you overwork yourself, if you like to get used, you'll be used. And after you're used, they will dump you. Because there's such a thing as overexposure. You can overexpose yourself to the point that you have no value. So what's the point of doing that?
What's really the point?
The idea of working is that you gain enough experience and traction to be able to move to the next level. The next level is progression in terms of the position you're being offered, the kind of job you're given, and the money. You don't get. I'm sorry, people that are making the same thing they were making in 2016. You're not a bigger star. Do you understand? You're not a bigger star. Don't fool yourself that, so when people are writing epistles, I've done this for 15 years. If you're not richer than 15 years ago, you're not a bigger star. Stop it.
Jesus.
What are you talking about?
Preach, my baby girl. Listen, not get on this episode. I just knew she was the right person for this comment. I knew it. I just didn't see. I don't have any more questions.
Charles, she's speaking, right? When I worked in Nigeria before Pulse TV, when I went back to Cameroon, was circumstances, I don't want to even talk about it. But when I was there, I just said, what was I doing in Nigeria? Can I replicate that in Cameroon since, we're a very baby industry? So red carpet hosting was something that they'll have events, but they don't do red carpet. So I said, no, red carpet enhances the power of the event in itself. The strength of it, and exposes, the people who come there, the caliber of people, it just gives it an oomph. So I started it. And I said, okay, this is how you dress. This is because you're the first person everybody who's coming there sees and talks to. So if you are looking certain shabby or you don't even know what you're saying, you just, the entire event is just kind of be like, this one. So I started it. So I started for free because I wanted to show that, this can be done. This is like the guys that just decided that, okay, since you're doing it for free, hey, madam, can you come back? I said, no, I'm not. I did it for 1 year for you.
That was a test run.
I just said, you guys should see how it is done, or this is what
you're allowed to change your price.
They said no. I said, okay, no problem. I don't want to. So they ran with no red carpets for a while. Then everybody when they post the event, they're like, where's Joanne now? Joanne should have done this thing better. Where is this? And then they start coming back. Now, instead of maybe 50,000 that perhaps I wanted to say, now we're heading to 200,000. If you don't want to pay, go now. It's okay. So what you're saying, I just really, really understand it. And before you got here, I was talking to Charles. In Cameroon, it's very different because of the French and English situation. And I sat down at home. Believe me, I had no job, nothing to do. And then I got a call from some guy. And he says, am I speaking with Joanne Gomba? I'm like, yes, sir. I'm speaking in French. I'm like, okay. Listen, everybody in the board called your name for this particular job, so I had no choice than to call you. I said, are you the one making the final decision? He said, yes. I said, I will answer this question, but please, can you give me your number, your WhatsApp number? He said, yeah. I sent him my videos. So that it's not just the board that is talking about me. You're the one paying me. You're the one making that final decision to say, John, I want me to be in your head. Because those people are not going to follow you where you're going. The kind of people where you're going to sit down with, you will be sitting there, not them. So I want you to also mention, just the way they mentioned my name in that board, you too should mention my name on in that other board, the higher board. You understand? And I got the job. I was the only English person to have that job till as I'm sitting here. And every year they call me to come and do it, and the price keeps changing. It keeps increasing. So what you're saying, I really, really and I'm just grateful that you're here talking about
thank
it.
you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Don't be afraid to say no.
No.
Don't be afraid to say
Let that
the
happen.
truth at the end of the day is that sometimes brands really may not even have the budget for that. But I guarantee you that a lot of times they do. They want to save money. It's business, right? They're trying to save money, but it's also business for you. You have to treat yourself as a business. Anytime you are burdened and you are like, oh, let me just accept. You need to also think about your own bills. Do you understand? Unless you don't have bills. You need to also think about your own problems. Also think about your problems. It's very easy for you to negotiate. Don't worry.
It's like, this money, it's like, another time, not finished.
Do you understand?
Very, very,
And then
very,
you've
very
spent X amount of time like overworking yourself for little. It's not fair. It doesn't make sense.
Don't work
Do you know
hard.
how much those people are signing deals for? You hear the amount that some of your influencers are being paid, you almost cry. So
Wow.
That's pretty much it. I don't have any more questions.
I've just learned. That's all. I've just been polished. It's really not school.
This episode will be one for the books, to be honest.
Oh my God.
You literally would have to...
Don't drag me for saying that if you don't have more than you had 15 years ago, you're not great. It's the truth.
Oh my God.
I know somebody was asking, when did I start work? 19.
Let me calculate it.
What have I made?
What have I made? Where have I reached out?
Idia says I don't have a life.
It's quite an interesting one, but thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, your guests, and just everything you said. Really,
Thank
really
you guys.
appreciate that.
Thank you.
Please, guys, follow Idia on social media.
Very available.
Across board. Follow the handles on your screen. Follow the handles. Freaky Table as well.
Yes.
On social media, please do well. On YouTube as well. We're there. Drop your comments if you want to say something. You have anything you want to say as well. Add to the conversation. Feel free to do that in the comment section of this video. Until next time, we'll see you around. Goodbye.